Shanika, and a few instances of misunderstanding, misreporting, and pure mischief with regards the APNU coalition's position and statements over the last week. First, we have not dropped or minimized our concerns with regards the problems that stand in the way of free and fair elections in Guyana. We wish and we will continue to expose and oppose such issues as a bloated voters list, the registration of ineligible persons to vote, the threats by the PPP against government workers who support opposition parties, and the misuse of state resources by the PPP for campaign purposes. These issues remain front and center of our concerns. We continue to work through our GECOM commissioners for Claudette Singh and the PPP to come to their senses. Secondly, we note the increasingly louder call for an accord between APNU and AFC. As we have said before, we have not closed the doors to negotiations. Meanwhile, we continue to reach out to other parties and persons who wish to team up with the APNU coalition. We are heartened by the responses thus far and will be making some announcements shortly. The third issue I wish to speak to has to do with the Form 2 of the requirements for GECOM to participate in the regional and general elections. We have taken note of the decision by GECOM to change the current Form 2. And because the election is already in motion, the process for elections is already in motion, political parties have already utilized the old Form 2, which requires signatures to support candidates in the regional and general elections. What GECOM did yesterday was to change the format and structure of the old form, and this is applicable to the regional list, the geographic list, and the top-up list. And these lists all requires a certain amount of signatures from nominators for the candidates to be eligible for participation in the elections. What this change seeks to do is to ensure that there is authentic signatures. And history has shown that it is only the People's Progressive Party that has ever engaged in having fraudulent signatures on their forms in previous elections. We remember in 2018, the local government elections, there were signatures of a family, and that family had to come out publicly on social media to say that they never gave the consent for their signatures to be on any form. We also remember in 2018, the People's Progressive Party had to withdraw from participating in constituency 9 at Maria Juana Nikadak area in Wakenham because of the signatures that were on their forms as being fraudulent signatures. And we also remember in 2023 when Bharat Jagdeo had to apologize to a family because a dead person's signature was on the form. So the move to make these forms better is, the intention of it is correct, but the timing poses a problem. The timing poses a problem because from the time GECOM announced elections, there was the old form on their website, and political parties began to do their work, especially in the far-flung regions, to gather the signatures needed in order to satisfy the requirement. This decision, which was taken yesterday, poses a problem in the sense that it will now require political parties to expend additional resources to go and redo work that were already done. And I must point out that the APNU have basically completed their signatures, and the completed work was done on the old form. Now we have to go and redo the very work that we did just a couple of weeks ago. What it does also is that it calls for additional resources to be expended on this project. Additionally, the PPP, as we know, they are using state resources for campaign purposes and also to gather their signatures. When we see Priya Manikchan in Region 9, or we see Susan Rodriguez in Region 8, or we see Colin Crowell in Region 1, and wherever else you see the other ministers are, they are traveling on state resources paid for by the state, accommodation, meals, and the likes by the state, and they are also engaged in the same exercise the APNU is engaged in, which is to gather signatures to meet the requirement. We have to go and redo that now. And I must say that it is irresponsible for GECOM to suddenly make this decision, knowing that this issue existed for quite some time now. And to make it at last minute is really an act of not mischief per se, but it's really them being irresponsible just a couple of days before the regional and general elections. I believe that GECOM needs to be accommodating to other parties that may find it difficult to go back and redo the very work they have already done. I must say, however, that that will not shortchange the APNU coalition. We will be going out again, and we will be getting our signatures as we have gotten them before, and we will be ready for these elections to meet the timelines, and we will defeat the People's Progressive Party and take government come September 2025. I thank you very much.
Thank you. At this time, I'll open the floor for questions on the press statement. Mr. Antonio Day.
Good morning, members of the press. Can you hear me?
Yes, we're hearing you.
Okay. Mr. Maipo, good morning, sir. On the subject of GECOM, you are aware that they have not appointed a legal representative. And in the past, they have had a representative that has been impartial. So I would like to know from the opposition standpoint, given that Mr. Nandala recently said that he has offered legal opinions, but not legal advice, what are your thoughts about this, given that we're not supposed to have any person that is a candidate, because Mr. Nandala is a candidate, also he's a state's attorney. So your thoughts on this, sir?
Thank you, Antonio, and good morning to you also. Anil Nandalal has a stake in elections 2025, as he also did in elections 2020 and previous elections. Anil Nandalal will be biased in his opinions, and he will definitely provide guidance that suits his interest and his party's interest in elections 2025. It is most unfortunate, it is wrong, it is callous, it is out of order for Claudette Singh to endorse receiving opinions, legal opinions from a player that is in the ring and is subject to be biased. Claudette should have known better. She is a retired justice and she served at the highest office in terms of providing justice to people. And this act does not provide justice to the Guyanese people. This move to have Anil Nandalal as their legal advisor or to provide legal opinions is not an act that takes the entire Guyana into consideration. It is not acting in the best interest of the Guyanese people, and it is one that must be condemned strongly. Claudette Singh needs to do things that are more credible, and she needs to demonstrate credibility by way of her actions. Unfortunately, we are not seeing that. This is not the only instance such has been done. We have said before, and we will say again, when GECOM was conceptualized and put into being and life was brought to GECOM, it was with the sole intent of having the opposition and government side represented on the GECOM Commissioners Board, and the chair is intended or should be someone who will seek to strike a balance, who will seek to come to a decision that is beneficial to both sides, not a chair who takes one side as against the other side. Claudette has been doing some very unreasonable, uncouth, and unimaginable practices at the level of GECOM. And perhaps the best thing that can happen to her right now is her resignation. And I hope she sees it fit, because she's really and truly incompetent in that office. Thank you.
I see a hand of Mr. Adam Harris.
Yes, good morning all.
Good morning.
Mr. Mike Paul, on the pursuit of a coalition with the Alliance for Change, did the AFC refuse to have Mr. Aubrey Norton as the presidential candidate? And if it did change that position, did it make submissions for others to be the presidential candidate ahead of that change?
Adam, because I was integral in the negotiations, and because I am well aware and informed as to the discussions, I will not wish to venture into answering that question, because I don't wish to go down the road of debating a tit for tat with the Alliance for Change. I am maintaining that my party, the People's National Congress Reform, which is the largest stakeholder in the APNU coalition, has not shut the doors on negotiations. I am still optimistic that we can find common grounds, but what I'm absolutely certain about is the presidential candidate will be Aubrey Compton Norton from the People's National Congress Reform, and I firmly believe that he will be the next president of Guyana. Thank you.
Follow up, please.
Go ahead.
I may be in possession of some of the information coming out of the talks. One is that the AFC said if Norton is presidential candidate, it wants control of cabinet, it wants 55%, and that was rejected. At any time during the talks, the PNC, APNU demand of the AFC to minimize its objections, its suggestions, and those kind of things.
I would say to you, Adam, that I believe that we, from the APNU side, we have offered AFC what the majority of persons consider to be reasonable offers. And if they don't see it as reasonable, they, of course, would have had to pen their counter offers. We did not find favor with their counter offers, and we maintain that our offers were very reasonable in the discussions and negotiations. I will answer it that way. Thank you.
One last question on this issue.
And you
Sorry
said
to
you said you
contest.
said that you may be in possession of some of the talk of what came out of the talks. I don't know if what you're in possession of is accurate, but what I know is that I was there, and I know that what was offered was reasonable. Thank you.
I know what was offered by you. I'm saying that the AFC proposed Mr. Manso Walton as presidential candidate. It then proposed Roysdale Ford as presidential candidate. Then it proposed Terence Campbell as presidential candidate. It backed off and it said, all right, Mr. Norton can be the presidential candidate. That it wanted control of the cabinet. It wanted 55% of the members of cabinet, and they didn't have to be ministers. Is that correct, sir?
I cannot recall at no time during our exchanges, whether it was via documents or physical interaction, of names being directly proposed. What I can tell you, I will go as far as to tell you that our position was that the presidential candidate come from the APNU. We never stipulated a name or names. I cannot recall the AFC even saying names. I saw something in line saying about Carl Greenidge. Carl Greenidge's name never came up in those discussions as I recollect them to be. But I can tell you that we said the presidential candidate will come from the APNU. And as time progressed, we have come to the acceptance in the APNU that that presidential candidate will be Aubrey Compton Norton, as mandated by his political party, the People's National Congress Reform. And further, he is enjoying the full confidence of the APNU team, and we are very optimistic that he will be the next president of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana. Thank you.
Antonio, just before you comment, one thing. I don't know how many days you have before the APNU, PNC, WPA, and the AFC to reach accord. I'm not sure what is the outside time. But are you confident that there will be an accord?
What I know is that there is a deadline that GECOM has for the submission of symbols. And after that deadline for the submission of symbols, there is also a deadline for nominations. And that is the period I think we have. I have been associated with politics, Adam, for close to, I think, about 17 years or thereabout, and strictly to the People's National Congress Reform, no other political party. I must make that very clear. And what I've learned over the years is what seems to be far from achieving can be achieved with just the click of a finger. So it may look like it's in the distance right now, but maybe as soon as I come off this press conference, it can be achieved. Let's wait and see how that goes. The date for submission of the symbol is important, and the date of nomination is equally important in knowing whether it will be an APNU AFC or whether it will be an APNU. But what I know is that the APNU is a coalition of which the PNCR is the largest political party, and there are several other parties and individuals who have expressed interest in being a part of the APNU. As I have said in the press statement, we are heartened by the responses thus far, and we will be making some announcements shortly. Thank you.
Mr. Anthony.
Mr. Mike Paul, good morning again, sir. GECOM has also noted that it will not allow polling agents outside of its district to be voting. I would like to know from your standpoint what implications it would have on the party itself. And lastly, if you're in a position to answer, would you be able to say as an executive member if the PNCR has received any resignation from Ms. Gita Chan and Edmund as procedural?
All right, your second question will be better answered by the General Secretary of the party, who is the person who would be receiving such correspondence. So that question may be better directed to the General Secretary of the party. With reference to your first question that speaks to polling agents voting outside of their polling district, it would not affect the APNU coalition because we have a structure, we have um, we have individuals in all the constituencies and all the areas where will be polling, where there will be ballot boxes. We will have people that will be working in those respective areas. So it will not affect us because we are a strong party. We are well numbered across the country, and we are very confident that it will not affect us. What it will do, however, is affect the smaller parties, and because they will have to field agents. And I think my opinion is that some consideration should have been given to take into account what happened in previous elections, because in 2011 elections, I remember there were certificates of employment that GECOM issued to agents of various political parties, and that certificate of employment is the record that permits them to vote at the place of poll where they are working for their respective political parties. And that should have been considered. We have to take into account that several other parties that are interested in participating in these elections must not be met with a stone wall that can disenfranchise them. And by them being present in respective polling stations, also provide another eye to keep the checks and balances in line, such as accountability and transparency, verification, and so on. So it is very unfortunate that GCOM took that decision not to allow it, but I can confidently tell you it will not affect the APNU coalition. We are very strong on the ground, and we have people in all the areas to field the respective polling stations where ballots will be cast.
Thank you.
Mr. Maliko, is it okay for me to go ahead?
Yes.
Sorry, Svetlana.
Yes, Ms. Marshall.
I'm not hearing clearly. Are you hearing me?
Yes, we are hearing you. You can go ahead.
Mr. Maliko, thank you so much. You spoke earlier about the party making some announcements not too long from now. Would that announcement include who will be the party's prime ministerial candidate going into the election? Has the party concluded on that post?
Thank you, Svetlana. The coalition, the APNU coalition, is in discussion, and the presidential candidate, Aubrey Norton, already outlined the qualities which the coalition has agreed to for what we are looking for as a prime ministerial candidate, in terms of someone who is grounded with the people, who is academically qualified, grounded with the people, and also able to represent strongly. I think Comrade Norton was very, very clear as to the criteria, and I know that engagements are ongoing, and I know that we will be making that announcement shortly. Thank you.
If I may,
Jahan,
as Svetlana will step up,
I think-
but if I may, please, you said that the PPP people are threatening those government workers, or who are you?
Just a follow-up, if I'm allowed to do so.
Ms. Wetland, you have.
Mr. Manipal, you spoke about sorry, my internet is going, forgive me. Mr. Manipal, you spoke about the qualities that Mr. Norton spoke about that the Prime Minister candidate should have. Do you see those qualities in yourself for that position?
Svetlana, the decision of prime ministerial candidate is not solely one that will be made by Mr. Norton or any particular individual. It's a decision that is being discussed among several other persons, and the best person is whom we wish to put forward. And you asked me if I see myself with those qualities. Of course, I do see myself with those qualities. I'm grounded in my party. But the decision, whether it is me or not, I remain committed to the People's National Congress reform. I remain committed to the APNU, and I remain committed to winning an election. It is not about an individual. It is about an election for country. And I am certain that I will be in a position in the next government as APNU, and we will serve the people of this country. So whether it is as an ordinary person in government service or a political appointment at the behest of the president, who will soon be Aubrey Norton, I will serve in the interest of country. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr.
All right.
Harris.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Sir, you said that there are people who have aligned themselves with the PNC, APNU, being threatened by the government. I saw somewhere that there were some people who have endorsed their signatures on the same form you talk about. How did the PPP get information about those people? And Benedon is going to come with another question.
It's simple. It's simple, Adam. When we have begun our process, the APNU began the process of acquiring signatures, reaching out to individuals very early. And we have always been on top of our game. And it so happened that those very people are who the PPP goes to also for signatures. Some of them include these 10 days workers. And these 10 days workers, some of them signed for us, have confidence in us, and have expressed their support for us. And when the PPP goes to them for signature, and they would say, we already signed on another form, on the APNU form. And then they will be threatened. They will be told, well, you have to remove your signature and sign here because as we give you work, as we do this, as we do that. That is the kind of notorious game the People's Progressive Party is engaged in. They've always been engaged in this. Threatening people for signatures is not something new. I've been around in 2015, it happened then. I've been around in 2011, it happened then also. The PPP is known for this kind of mischief. They're known for this kind of lawlessness. They're known for that.
Thank you.
My next question is, I saw a lot being made of the fragile elements who left the PNCR, APNU, and have pledged support for the government. But you're silent on those who've left other parties to come aboard the PNCR, APNU. Why is this so?
Let me say first of all, Adam, that I don't recall anyone who has left in recent having any direct impact in the PNCR and the APNU. In fact, those who have left were people who came on board whilst we were in government. That was 2018, 2019, thereabout. Some in 2020, just before the elections. And They have chosen after 5 years in opposition to leave, and that's their decision. I am a firm believer that anybody who wishes to choose whichever political party they wish to support, they are free to do that. It's a constitutional right, and I stand firm on what is constitutionally correct to do as an individual. What I have a problem with is when you hold on to the seat that you are in, knowing full well that the electorate never voted for you directly. In elections, people vote for a list of candidates belonging to a political party. So you are in that seat on the strength of people who voted for a party. And they voted for that party because they bought into the party's policies and programs. You were merely extracted from the list and entrusted with the position to represent that party's policy and programs. And if you no longer want to align yourself with that party's policies and programs, the proper thing, the decent thing to do is to leave the seat that you're in and the party, not just the party, and go and champion whomever policy or whichever policy or program you so believe in now. That is what should happen. And in similar vein, people who have expressed their interest to be a part of the APNU coalition, they are doing so because they are buying into the policies and programs of the APNU. You cannot, as an individual, be aligned to one side that has a policy and a program, and at the same time want to support another side that has a policy and a program that differs. You got to choose one or the other. You can't be in both. So those who have chosen to come on board with us, I think they understand that position very clearly. They're decent enough to understand it. Those who have chosen to leave us, they are yet to demonstrate that they possess that kind of dignity, that kind of character, that kind of human decency. We're yet to see. I trust I answered your question.
Yeah, you're a diplomat. I can make you a commissioner or ambassador to somewhere. But would you care to offer an idea of the number of people who've left other parties to come aboard with the APNU?
I'm going to read the line from the press statement, which says, we continue to reach out to other parties and persons who wish to team up with the APNU coalition. We are heartened by the responses thus far, and we will be making some announcements shortly.
Would you care to say whether any of these people came from other political parties? Or?
Yes, Adam. Announcement will be made shortly. Your hook needs some more bait.
All right, I have Miss Williams in studio.
Go ahead.
Okay, Mr. Michael, following up on what you said about the APNU currently holding discussions and there still being a potential for a coalition, would the APNU support Azzuddin Mohammed as the consensus candidate for a coalition government?
The simple answer to that question is no. That's all? Thank you.
All right, we have
Mr. Michael, if you can, if I may, please, I would just like to ask my last question. I know that the PNCR is big on terms of youth representation. Is it foreseeable that if you guys are elected to government, we will see more youth representation at the parliamentary level?
When we are elected to government, definitely you will see more youth participation in our government. And I want to make it very clear that the list of candidates that will come out will consist of several young people. It will be a mixture, but I can confidently say that we will have several young, new faces. And though I may look old, I am a youth nonetheless. Don't judge me by these gray hairs, right? I'm just 35.
At least you're younger
That
than
answers
your,
my question. That answers my question.
Thank you.
Following up
you're
there.
younger than your friend.
1 second, Mr. Adam Harris. Miss Williams in studio would like to follow up.
One up there on the youth engagement, could you say how many youths have joined the party since Mr. Norton took the mantle?
Since Mr. Norton took the mantle as party leader of the People's National Congress Reform, our membership has grown significantly. We are now in the vicinity of over 23,000 membership. When he took the mantle, we were somewhere around 18,000 or thereabout. And several young people reached out and have engaged. I can tell you that we have had several youth forum or youth fora, that may be grammatically correct, over the period he has been leader. And we had a youth engagement not too long ago. But you know, because we are in a country where the People's Progressive Party engage um, in targeting people who are not supportive of them, we also have to be mindful to protect our supporters, to protect people who have entrusted us with their confidence, and to protect people even in the public service that are currently angry with the manner in which the People's Progressive Party operates. So not everything you will see us throwing out into social media and into the public space, because we owe our supporters, we owe our people who have confidence in us that trust that they have entrusted in us to protect their identity. I am confident that they will speak resoundingly at the place of poll when they put their X at the APNU, and then their confidence can be expressed by way of how we deliver better services to enrich and enhance their lives.
Thank you. All right, at this moment, I will take one question if anybody else has one.
Yeah, I was about to ask one.
Go ahead.
Parliament hasn't been prorogued as yet. And at least two of those who appear to have defected are members of Parliament. If there is to be yet another sitting, what position will the party, the coalition take to have those people vacate the seats they hold at the moment?
Let me first say to you that the parliament is scheduled to be dissolved. There's a difference between prorogation and dissolution. So it is scheduled to be dissolved within, it can be dissolved anytime within the 3 months period that the date has been named. More importantly is the fact that I don't think the date has been gazetted, and that is important. I believe that that will be gazetted simultaneously with the dissolution of the National Assembly. You said two defections that are sitting in Parliament. I'm not aware of two defections, unless I'm losing my memory at 35. But there is one
Ali
defection.
Cock, Ali Cock and Gita Chandan.
Ali Cock is not a member of Parliament. Geeta Chandan Edmond is the only member of Parliament that did what she did. I can tell you that if there is going to be another sitting of the National Assembly, um, in fact, I should tell you that the APNU has activated the system of recall. and it requires writing to the representative of the list, and the process flows from there. So I can tell you that the APNU met the political party in which she is a part of or was a part of, let me be grammatically correct, met at its central executive level and decided that she can no longer represent our interests. And we thought that giving her that space of a day or two may have put her on the part of doing the correct, the morally correct, the objective, the decent thing. But it seems as though, she served as a magistrate and so on. So one would have expected that that would have taken precedence in her actions. But clearly it did not. And therefore it requires the party to now take its rightful steps. You see, you give people the benefit of the doubt and you allow them to make their decisions and take part in whatever they want to do. But when they want to be pompous and a bully, basically, you got to take your actions. And the party has activated that part. So it's one defection, not two defections.
Point taken, point taken. And you got somebody in house?
There is somebody in house, and I did say that I wanted to take one question before we wrap it up. So I'll permit Ms. Williams. I also see, I believe Mr. Antonio Day wants to say something as well. So I will take Ms.
Okay, Mr.
Williams.
Maripol. Thank you, Mr.
One
Haynes.
second.
Mr. Maripol, just for
Mr.
clarity.
Antonio Day, 1 second. I'll take Ms. Williams, then I'll take you to close off our press conference. Ms. Williams.
Okay, Mr. Michael, within the past, we've seen a lot of, comments towards, Mr. Siram and Vito departing or endorsing, the PPP. What are your views on the coalition's WPA? David Hines saying that Daniel was basically for ethnic, dressing, and saying that, Winston Joy was saying that, Vito betrayed Afro-Guyanese. As an Indo-Guyanese within the PNC, do you support these type of comments, especially as the coalition is hoping to, I would say, be more inclusive?
I have been a member of the People's National Congress Reform since 2008, and my political party is an all-inclusive party. My political party has never demonstrated a base of wanting to favor one over the other. My political party has always been embracing to me. I have never had the feeling of being uncomfortable in the PNCR. I am always moved whenever I reflect in history and read as to what the PNCR in government did for building multi-ethnic relationships, multicultural relationships. I can reference the fact that it was the PNCR that made Agua, Diwali, Eid al-Adha, Yawm al-Nabi as holidays. And Forbes Barnum in the reading of history has always been about multicultural, multi-ethnic, and multi-religious party. To date, I have seen that. I continue to believe that. And as an Indo-Guyanese in the PNCR, I feel I'm at home with my family, and they have always embraced me. I have no reason to have any other view. As I said, I've been here for several years. The names you reference, they don't know the beauty of the PNCR because they've only been around for a short while. And the short while they have been around, they have never really participated in grounded party activities. I can tell you, I entered as a normal member, was elected by my group people in A Field Sophia GYSM as the secretary to that group. I then elevated to a member of the Bel Air Campbellville group, where I was rubbing shoulders with people like Carl Greenidge and a set of other very intelligent senior people of the party. I then moved to Stewartville, PNCR, when I was living over in Region 3. And here I am now as a central executive member of the party, a person who can stand or sit as I am and confidently speak about my party. And I've towed the line to reach where I am. I'm not a fly by night. I wasn't parachuted to any office. I have towed the line. I've enjoyed my ride, and I continue to enjoy my ride in a beautiful party called the People's National Congress Reform.
That Mr. Hines and Mr. Jordan would have made.
I did not hear the statement that or read the statement that Mr. Hines made, but Mr. Hines have always been speaking his mind, and he speaks for himself. And if he speaks to the WPA, I don't even know if he speaks to the WPA. He speaks for himself. Mr. Jordan, I am not sure what statement did he. I didn't see his statement
Yes,
either.
and there would have published an article. He said on that he showed that he betrayed Afro-Ghanaians who put her there.
I think he did betrayed the PNCR because the PNCR extracted her to represent the PNCR's interests. And for me, she betrayed the PNCR. She betrayed me because I'm a part of the PNCR. And I have also voted for the APNU and placed her there. So she wasn't extracted on her vote. She was extracted on several votes, including mine. So for me, Gita has betrayed me. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Antonio.
Yes, Mr. Paul, going back to your statement on Ms. Shannon Edmonds' resignation, you said that as a sitting magistrate, one would have believed that she would have done the decent thing. Are you by chance inferring that she did not tender her resignation?
No, I'm saying that when she decided to endorse Irfan Ali and what I will term as the cabal of thieves, she should have done the right thing before doing that. That is what I'm implying. And she has not resigned as a member of parliament representing the APNU AFC. And by virtue of that, we have to activate the step to remove her. But I'm saying when she was sitting as a magistrate, administering the rule of law and holding people account for their actions, that I thought would have taken precedence in terms of her recognizing as a person at that level, at that caliber, she should have done the decent thing of removing herself before endorsing the cabal of thieves.
All right. Just in case anybody missed it, is there any one question outside of the press statement, despite we took questions outside of the press statement? Is there any other?
Yeah, I have one.
Go ahead, Mr. Harris.
Mr. Paul, how is the foot slogging going for the party? Yesterday I learned that the party hasn't been in a fields of fire, a place that you're familiar with. Could you say how is the foot slogging and the campaign on the ground going?
I can tell you that the campaign on the ground is going very well. We have persons out and about all over. The leader is slated to be somewhere tomorrow. I am slated to be somewhere tomorrow. Several other persons are slated to be at different areas tomorrow. And today, as a matter of fact, the leader's absence from today's press conference is because he is in the field. I want to say to you, when it comes to a field of fire, your assumption is not accurate. We have had people in a field of fire. We may have not covered the entire field of fire, but we will in the shortest possible time. But I can tell you, we're all over the place. We're doing our groundwork, and we are prepared to win these elections. We are prepared to change the direction of this country. We are prepared to make the ordinary man the real man. We're prepared to increase public servants' salary. We're prepared to bring greater recognition and bring back a sense of belonging to the Guyana Police Force to ensure that there is no political direction and no interference from politicians. We want to see a public service that is professional without political interference, and we're prepared to enhance the structure and systems across this country so that we can have, once again, accountability, transparency, and good governance. That is what is lacking, and we cannot afford as a people to give the People's Progressive Party another chance to continue to rob us as they enrich their friends, their families, and favorites, leaving us, the ordinary people, at the behest of God knows what. Thank you very much.
All right. I want to thank our media personnel for joining today's press conference. And of course, you, our viewing audience, and all our social media platforms. We do hope that you have a wonderful weekend.